Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, June 16th. That is the eve of the U.S. Open. I, of course, am Johnny Danger. With me is Mr. Adam White. We are Draft for Upside. This is In the Cup. Man, it's been like 2 months, buddy. How the hell you been?
We did PGA, didn't we?
Did we? I think we did.
4 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay. It's been a month.
We're a majors show now. We only show up for the big events. We are the Brooks Koepka of golf podcast.
It's true. We are the Brooks of golf. And we're just as hit or miss as Brooks is.
Or Brooks Light. We are the Louis Oosthuizen of golf podcast.
There we go. No, we're not that consistent, buddy. We're not that consistent.
Well, it might be true. What's going on, man? Ready for some golf talk?
Yeah, man. I've been in the UP for like a week, and I'm back to humanity. Get this. Both my children are in daycare for the first time in 15 months today.
So you have silence in that beautiful house with the grand piano I'm seeing behind
There's
you?
nobody here. There's nobody here. It's quiet.
It's amazing.
It's a beautiful place.
You've been meditating?
I have been every day.
Good for you.
Every day. I'm starting a new job on Monday, so I'm pretty excited, and I'm here hanging out with you in the middle of the day. I like all these things.
Well, since we don't have, at least I don't have a beer I'm currently drinking to talk about.
It's true.
Why don't you talk? Maybe you do, but why don't you talk about the new gig?
Yeah. Big old bottle of water here. Well, I actually haven't announced it, so we might as well announce it right here, live premiere, right? So I have decided to move on from my good friends and family at Witch's Hat Brewing Company, as sad and heartbreaking and bittersweet as that is. And I am getting ready to try to launch a fantasy sports site, of course, which there'll be more to talk about that at some point soon. And I'm going to help Aberrant Ales right here in my hometown of Howell do a little self-distribution part-time, a couple days a week. So you'll have to meet me up there for a beer. How about that?
Oh, I'm definitely down for that. You just seem more like yourself. Like, I just associate you with beer. So when there's not as much beer activity in your life, it just doesn't feel right.
That's right. Beer Man John.
Beer Man John.
That's how it goes. So I'm excited to have a beer with you up there. It'll be fun.
Heck yeah. I'm up in Livingston County every so often, but yeah, I'm happy for you.
I like it. Thank you. It's fun.
Hopefully the site gets rolling too, and you can knock it out of the park on both sides.
Oh, man, yeah. We'll be talking about Fantasy Sports Site very soon. It's coming quickly.
Love it.
Let me finish building our breakdown here. And we're going to go to the U.S. Open, man. I don't have any idea what's going on. Like I said, I've been in the woods for a week. I kind of forgot it was the U.S. Open until you said something yesterday. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill the space while you impart our knowledge. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this U.S. Open, where they're playing, and what's going on?
Well, I will do my best. They're out at Torrey Pines, just north of San Diego, California, in La Jolla to be specific. We've got a rather long U.S. Open golf course. It's pretty typical, about 7,600-yard par 71. We've got some long par 4s. We've got some beastly par 5s and par 3s. This course has hosted one previous U.S. Open, and it was 13 years ago, so I'm not sure there's much you can take from that. But generally speaking, the U.S. Open recently, if you go back to the last 5 years or so, has very much catered to the longer hitters, so we will certainly be looking at that. But the course is gorgeous, up on the top of a cliff, basically, and overlooking the ocean. You'll have some beautiful scenery there. It's going to play a lot differently than the Farmers. Farmers Open's usually there like end of January, so the fairways are a lot softer, the temperatures are cooler, so it's going to play shorter now, but the rough is going to be thick.
And true U.S. Open, that's got to be thick rough, right?
Yeah, and there's, as always, there's videos showing up of golf balls you can't really see in the rough until you move the rough aside.
Right. Of course, Bryson proved that didn't really matter to him.
And that's the interesting part about the distance conversation. You typically think of your U.S. Opens as guys like, back in the 90s, like Lee Jansen and Hale Irwin, these fairway finders that hit fairways and greens. But
Freddie Couples, straight and short.
Freddie's long, but the that kind of way.
He's not now. He's like 60, dude.
He's not long now compared to the old guys he's playing against. He is, but it's so hard to hit the fairways, even as a shorter hitter. that you have a big advantage if you're hitting wedges or short irons out of the rough. You have a better chance to gouge onto the green than a guy who's hitting 7-iron, who's hopeless because they have less club head speed and just can't gouge it out of there. So you see a lot of these guys up top, your Brookses, your Matthew Wolf and Bryson last year, DJs, these guys that you wouldn't think of as prototype U.S. Open players in the past, but it's showing that distance is a big advantage. So we'll talk a little bit about that and who we like this week and why. But that rough is always going to be a story at the U.S. Open. This year is no different.
I like it. Let's talk about Phil Mickelson and those beautiful caps.
We want to do like a quick, since we're a major, showing up for majors type of podcast now.
Yeah, man. I mean, the last time we talked, we were talking the PGA, and we did not have him on the radar, not even a little. We didn't even make a joke about it. I mean, he wasn't even mentioned.
No, and usually, historically, you guys will mention him, and then I'll blow it off. But and it's probably what I would have done too. I didn't even scroll down far enough on DraftKings pricing or betting odds to see him,
right?
And to have him even come to my mind until I saw him a few under on Thursday. I'm like, oh, Phil, okay.
So is this the most impressive major win by somebody of that age bracket that you've seen? Is it in that category for you?
It's the only win by somebody.
I mean, for somebody, he was the oldest, right? But like,
yeah,
what a crazy win. How do you? I mean, obviously the Masters win by Tiger coming back from injury was probably one of the most epic, like, late stage career comeback wins that there's ever been. So it's hard to maybe compare it to that. But what do you compare that win to for Phil?
It's different than Tiger's because it's not a comeback. We didn't see Phil ever completely go away where he was injured or rehabbing from surgery, that type of thing. Not for a long period like Tiger. But against that field at that golf course, that's a course where you really have to drive it long and straight off the tee to contend. And when you think about straight, you don't think Phil Mickelson. So the fact that he was able to put that together for 4 rounds and really only had a couple of super wayward shots that makes the everyman love Phil, because he hits those shots that you can relate to as a weekend golfer. But it's an incredible achievement. I don't know if it's the greatest achievement ever in golf, but for me, it's certainly up there as far as the ones I've seen. To have the greatest major champion of our generation, at least the last 5-10 years, on his heels, in Brooks, who had won 2 PGAs in recent memory, as well as 2 U.S. Opens, like, just an unbelievable feat. And it speaks to how much longevity players are able to find in their careers as athletes, now that we know more about how to manage your body and how to keep your body in good shape.
I mean, obviously, you're just telling me that it's not too late for me. I just need to have a stretching and a calf routine, and I'm in.
It's not about you, Danger. No, but it's fun to see because it gives you hope for a guy like Tiger to come back, and he's going to take care of his body pretty well when he comes back, as long as he doesn't practice too hard. And other sports, Tom Brady competing at quarterback at the highest level into his mid-40s. Crazy. LeBron James into his
Did you see
30s.
Bartolo Colon complete a game in minor league this last week? At 48 years old, complete game.
Is he like 400 pounds yet?
Oh, easy 400 pounds. Well, maybe not.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, man, he's obviously pitching in the minors now, but he threw a complete game.
Yeah.
48 years old. It's amazing.
Obviously, it's different in golf, but that particular course where you have to hit it so long and straight, the shots he was hitting, the way he was controlling his ball flight, just unbelievable. Phil's one of the all-time greats, and I've shared this with you guys on the podcast a few times, but my view on him over the last 3-4 years has completely changed.
Oh, I mean, I've watched it change from a complete hater to a kind of just in awe of his ability to compete at this age. So.
At a certain point, it was always for me when I was young, it was Tiger versus Phil, but I'm appreciating both of those guys' careers at this point. Phil's been incredibly good in majors, and I don't think he's going to compete this week, but I wouldn't also be shocked if he did.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's riding high, right? Ooh. All right, buddy. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's quickly show the people here. I'm gonna pull up our Mooseonomics over at FantasyNational.com. Let's build a quick model, shall we? So what do we start with here on the shots gained screen? Where are we doing here? Tee to green, off the tee. What do we got? Ball striking.
I just like the U.S. Open. I just like strokes gained ball striking. Who's hitting at the overall best. I've gone back a couple months on that. Strokes gained putting on POA.
All right, let me get over to the
this
putting.
Is in no particular order just yet.
Yep, I'm just going to go strokes gained putting. All right. putting. What else we got?
Strokes gained ARG.
ARG back to. All right. You know, it's my favorite. Around the green.
I'm actually factoring in driving distance this week.
All right. So are we doing off the tee? Where do I find that?
You should be able to just pop up driving distance.
I don't think it's in there. I don't think it's in there.
Then go
proximity,
I think you
fairway.
Driving
distance. There it is. There it is. I've never used that driving distance. All right. Anything else you want to throw in there real quick?
No, I mean we'll filter out some of the names based on U.S. Open experience and previous history.
All right. For those of you that are watching or listening, we are using fantasynational.com to build a custom model based on those few stats. Of course, you can play around with all kinds of things. They don't pay us to say this, but we keep doing it anyways because maybe Pat Mayo someday will listen and be like, these guys are great. Let's give them a free membership.
Doubtful, but we'll keep trying.
We'll keep trying. All right. So let me move this over to our shared screen. All right. How would you like to weight these now, my friend?
Strokes gained. What do we have? 4 total categories?
Yep. We do.
I would go strokes gained, ball striking. So we have 4. I would do that at like 33%.
Okay. How about 34? That sounds great.
Perfect. Then I would weight. Should put bogey avoidance in there too. Let's weight strokes gained, ARG, and driving distance. Excuse me.
About 25 each? What do you think?
Sorry, I'm dying.
You're all right. All right. So if I go 33 on ball striking and I do ARG and driving distance both 25, it leaves putting at 17.
Perfect.
All right. So that's just an example. Of course, we'll play with this throughout the day and get it. So this is just a quick rundown of how to do this. So this spits out Dustin Johnson, Bryson, Xander, Rahm, Finau, Spieth, Cantlay, Thomas. Big names right up top.
I like that.
I'm looking
I like
through
some
here.
of those names.
Yeah, and you know I'm always on Carlos Ortiz. I told you pre-show I was on Paul Casey. And I like Joaquin Niemann quite a bit. So you got a couple 7,000 names in the top 15. So that's good. You need a little value. I'm a big Ortiz fan. I'm a big Paul Casey fan. I like the value that you get out of them. I'm not really shocked by anything up in this list. So.
No, I'm not either. There are some guys that are missing that I would have hoped would pop up, but it is what it is.
Yeah, which of course you said you wanted to add bogey avoidance, but I don't want to. We'll get into that at some point. So here's kind of our model. Like I said, this is a paid for service. I don't want to hang out here too long. You can always go to fantasynational.com, sign yourself up a subscription. So we've seen this. You've taken a peek on how this. I'll leave it off to the side. Let me copy and paste it over into another tab. Let me put our DraftKings lineup builder here. All right, here's our DraftKings lineup builder. We'll let that load. Can you see that all right, Adam?
Absolutely.
As soon as it... So why is it not loading? Why is it not loading, Adam?
I don't know. We'll do it on mine, but we can't screenshot it.
That's okay.
That's your league lineup.
All right.
Let's go to the Millie Maker.
I don't want to go to the Millie Maker. We're going to build my lineup. There we go. Oh, don't look at that. All right. We're good. All right, let's kick this off, my friend. We'll run through this pretty quick. We don't want to go too long today. It's a quick preview here. So let's start with these guys in the 5 figures here, starting at 10K and up. How do you feel about Rahm being forced to withdraw with a 6-stroke lead the other week?
My gosh, at Memorial.
And I had him in my lineup too, and I'd had only one missed cut. I was feeling great, and then meh.
I was in shock. I saw that he was leading by a pretty good margin, like early in his back 9 that day, and then I got busy and checked the leaderboard later, and I scrolled about 6-7 spots down, and I went, where the heck did Rahm go? What did he do?
Yeah.
He nicked like a 20 on a hole?
Dude, he had a 6-stroke lead.
It was unreal. I mean, the guy was playing some of the best golf we've seen him play. To go 65, 64 on that course is something special. So I don't know. I'm not going to get into whether they should have called him off. The bottom line is he wasn't vaccinated, and he could have been.
Yep.
So obviously playing at a high level, at least he was 10, 11 days ago. So, yeah, I think he belongs right where he is. I mean,
is he the kind of guy that gets into his head a little bit, or you're not worried about it?
No, I think if anything, he'll come out even more determined. He's been cleared since Saturday, so he's been at the course practicing. He's played very well at the course in the past anyway. I think it sets up perfectly for him. I don't care that he had COVID. He was obviously playing through it and doing just fine, and now he's fully recovered.
Oh, sure.
So I would take him over any of the next 3 guys for sure. So, yeah, I think he belongs at the top. I think he's going to be, if not the number 1 player, vying for that spot for the next decade plus. And, yeah, I think he is the odds-on favorite for a good reason.
I dig it. I'm trying to find the ownership projections. There we are. All right, so let's see where he's at. Yeah, he's probably going to be up there. And he's not really. He's actually only the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8th guy on the list. I thought he'd be right up at the top. Xander's number 1, followed by Kokrak. Kokrak number 2.
Interesting.
Very interesting. But Casey's number 3, so I'm going to triple down on my Casey love.
All right. I'm probably going to fade all 3 of those, but if we stay in that top range, Spieth, I do not think this is a good golf course for him. He's just not driving it straight enough. The rough is going to kill him.
And Spieth is one of those guys that the course will get in his head. If he starts having a few bad swings, they'll just get worse and worse.
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide out there. You've got a lot of difficult holes, and you don't really have a long stretch of holes where you can kind of fake your way around. You got to be solid tee to green. He's been driving it straighter, but I just don't see him putting it together this week. It's a huge golf course, and there are just other guys I like a lot more than Jordan.
Well, with very minimal research and not looking through ownership or any of the factors that we normally do on our model building, just going through and feeling out players, I think we're good. I didn't start with any of these guys. The first guy I started with was Xander at 9-3. And then the next person I started with was Webb Simpson down at 8-7 when I built the first 2 lineups I built. So I kind of faded the whole top end.
I can see Xander. I'm not on Webb this week. Outside of Rahm right up top, I'm not digging the next 3, but I like Brooks, and I actually like Rory quite a bit this week. I think you're still going to have a lot of people, especially if you're talking tournament ownership. You got a lot of people who probably played him at the PGA after he had won at Wells Fargo and feel kind of burned by him. So I don't think his ownership's going to be super high. Played okay. Like, he can play okay at Memorial and still finish top 20 and finish under par on a tougher week. So, yeah, I like Rory this week. His ball striking is really coming around. If his putting can just be decent, he's a really good play. You got to be able to hit your long irons nice and high here, especially to these par 5s and long 4s.
And Rory is not in the top 12 of ownership. He's down about 13% if you're playing the large fields.
Perfect. Yeah, so I like those 2 guys. I really am not a huge fan right now of Xander, especially if he's the highest owned guy. I know he's got good history here and in California in general, but I would much rather play Patrick Cantlay at 9,100. I know he's coming off a victory, so I'm sure he'll be somewhat popular as well.
He's sitting right around Rory and Morikawa. Right there at 13, so 13 and a half.
If he's not in the top 10 in ownership, or even if he's near 10th, I'll take him all day. So
DJ and JT are down under 10%.
Even with that being the case, I think that's for good reason. JT's similar. He just doesn't drive it straight enough. DJ showed some form last week, but he's just been brutal leading up to that. I mean, that was DJ's first top 10 since February. It's June.
Yeah, man.
And he finished exactly tied for 10th. Like, he didn't contend. So that little bit of flash of form from DJ is not enough for me to play him. So I skip right over him.
All right, well, let's scroll down into the Cantlay range there at the 9,000 and down. I kind of like this range. I like Cantlay. I like Reed. I like Finau. I like Webb, but that was with no research. So you're probably going to change my mind on that.
Probably, and then he's probably going to win. But Reed and Cantlay, I love at 9,000 and 9,100 respectively. I look at Cantlay as kind of that pivot off of Schauffele, who's going to be high owned, and then Reed I look at as a pivot off of Finau to lower ownership with both those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way, if you want to take a co-crack or someone that's higher owned in the lower price range, you at least differentiate yourself up top a little bit.
Yeah,
I love Cantlay and Reed. Both are proven in majors. Reed's never going to give up. If he has a bad first round, he's 3 or 4 under, he's going to keep grinding and work his way back into it. And his short game is phenomenal. You need a good short game here. And Reed, he's got an argument for the best short game in golf.
Sure. I can't go a show without talking about Scheffler or Coco. Any love for them here?
No. And back to Simpson, he had a bit of an injury. He was shaken off, and then I just heard he had the flu like last week, and it knocked him out for 5 days. Was barely able to even chip and putt, and he's never played this course.
Okay, all right, fair. I'll leave him off.
He doesn't play at the Farmers because it's too big of a golf course for him. Granted, it's firmer now, but it's still not a guy I'm targeting.
All right, I'll leave him alone. You've talked me off of it.
I like there is actually more of a correlation to the good wedge players, especially like that 80 to 120 range on the approaches to the green, some of these shorter par 4s. And then par 5s where you have to lay up, these 600-plus yarders. A guy like Danny Berger, who was kind of expected to contend at the PGA and really didn't, I could definitely see Berger putting a good week together.
And you're getting Berger at 7.6% right now.
What is he, 6%?
7.6.
Yeah, I'll take my chances with that all day. He showed some signs of life at the Schwab a few weeks ago after not playing great at the PGA, but God, his form was so good leading up to that.
All right, man. I think I'll pivot from Webb to Berger. How's that sound?
What's that?
I said I'll pivot from Webb to Berger.
Okay. I'm down with that. No, I think he's also fighting for a Ryder Cup spot. He's determined, I think, to perform and show out in a major, and he hasn't done that yet this season. So I think he's a guy I'm definitely looking at, especially if he's that low owned, to play well. Connors, he's had a good run in majors, but I just don't I don't see his short game holding up here. I don't see his distance off the tee really keeping him in it quite enough.
So I'm going to shock you for a minute, Adam. Through all of this time, the last 35 minutes that I've been looking, I haven't found a Cameron that I like this week.
Okay. That probably means you're maturing as a fantasy golf
I don't like to think about it that way, but, I like to have Camerons in my lineup. I don't know what I like here, man. Louis is a guy who's going to make the cut. I don't know, a guy I keep telling you is never going to contend in the top 5, and most of the time I'm right. But his price range is
not at majors, dude.
Is where it's at. 8,000. It's a good price range.
If you want to talk about Louis in majors, you have no leg to stand on there. He finished tied for second at the PGA. He finished top 5 in the U.S. Open last year.
Mm-hmm. But 8,100, I love that price for him. Absolutely love that price for him. I still like Paul Casey, although I think you're right. His ownership's going to be very big. What about Burnsy?
Yeah, I was looking at Burnsy. I just don't think he has the experience in U.S. Opens to really do it for 4 days. If he was low 7s, I might consider, because he doesn't make a lot of birdies, but I could see him missing the cut just as easily as top 20, top 30. I like some guys with a little bit of experience here. I actually like, of course, I like Louis. That kind of goes without saying.
So who are the course horses here? You said this hasn't been a U.S. Open in 13 years, but obviously they play here. Who's the course guys here?
Rahm for sure up top. One guy we'll talk about in a few minutes who always plays well here is Ryan Palmer as well. He's contended here several times. Xander, Finau, those guys are definitely course horses at Torrey. But the thing is, I don't think the course horse thing from the Farmers really applies to this week because it's going to be playing so much differently. Both, the firmness of the golf course, the thickness of the rough, the green.
I'm sure the
polo
weather
greens this time of year are different than
weather's
January.
different.
So,
Yep.
yeah, I don't love looking at it that way. I think the weather being warmer and the fairways being firmer brings in some of the shorter hitters to possibly contend, like your Bergers, like your Abe Answers, potentially that kind of guy. But I don't necessarily love looking at Farmers results to indicate who's playing well this week.
Well, we've been a big fan of Kokrak on this show for years. But even at 16% owned, second highest owned guy, we're talking about differentiating elsewhere. You still like him in there? I mean, I'm going to play, 135-man tournament, so I'm not in a giant GPP.
I've decided on Kokrak. I'm gonna play him in cash this week, double ups and head to heads, just because there is a lot of upside there at 7,600. But I am going to fade him completely in tournaments and pivot to one Mr. Shane Lowry at the same price.
All right.
Another big fella. Lowry's been playing some great golf. At the Memorial just a couple weeks ago, finished T6, fourth at the PGA. Not a great event at the Wells Fargo, but T9 at RBC Heritage. He's done it on a variety of different types of courses. And
well, people must be looking like value and liking your thought pattern because he is projected as the 9th highest guy, just shy of 15%.
Where is he relative to Kokrak?
Lowry is number 9 at 14.6. Kokrak is number 2 at 16.2.
Yeah, I mean, not a phenomenal pivot, but I still take him at that ownership. I would take Lowry to finish higher than Kokrak.
All right, fair. I'm going to slap
ownership's that much lower. And then,
look at this, man. I start with 3 guys that I feel like are very solid that could make, easily a top 20, if not better. And I've got 86 remaining for 3 players each. I like it.
Yeah, you got some win equity there with Berger, Usti, with Lowry. So you can pop. We'll talk about a couple of value guys here. And I'm trying to keep the player pool a little bit tighter this week than I usually do in majors, just because we're trying to win the money.
We're trying to win the money. You see, if I pull John Rahman here, it takes it dramatically down to 73. So we got to get creative down here. So let's leave off. Where did we leave off here? Kokrak-ish area down here. All right. Adam Scott's a guy who I tend to look at majors here or there. I don't know about this particular course for him. Where are you at down here? Harmon popped in my original model that I built.
Brian Harmon popped?
Uh-huh.
Ooh. No, there are some guys I like down here in the low 7s. Harmon and Scotty are definitely not guys
Let's
I
get
was
lower. Let's
considering.
get lower. Max Homa, Billy Ho.
So,
Bezundhut.
Billy Ho. I just don't know, Billy Ho. I can't do it. He's just not consistent enough in
what about
majors, doesn't drive it straight enough.
He's not missing cuts. Look at that, 12 for 12. He's not missing cuts.
I know, but he shot freaking 82 at the Memorial, and yeah, I just can't do it with Billy Ho. He seems to have a little bit of quit in him at these majors.
Mm-hmm.
It starts getting a little too tough. He just turns the hat backwards. And
do you believe in the Stewart Sink comeback here?
I do. I actually like Stewie Sink this week. I was really, really hoping that Garrick Higo would kind of contend last week, but not really, and people wouldn't notice that he's won 2 European Tour events recently. But the kid goes out and wins the damn thing, and now everyone's going to be on him. 7,200. He's obviously on a freaking tear right now. He's won 3 of his last 5 events. Insanity. Just won his second PGA Tour event.
The sharps might be on him, but the general consensus is only 6% out.
Yeah. Now I just don't, with the whole emotional roller coaster thing too. He hasn't followed up his other wins with great performances. So I like Sink though. Sink is an absolute veteran. He'll work his way around this course. And then we got my guy Charlie Hoffman there at 7.
Yeah, buddy.
Charlie Hoffman. I feel like it's all been building to this week for Charlie.
I think we just call it quits right here. You can see my lineup. I'm out, and you have a good rest of the show. I'm just going to log off.
Charlie and Stewie, and you're done?
I'm out.
All right.
Right there.
Well, it's been fun. I'm just going to ramble for about 5-10 more minutes, and
all right.
we'll go from there.
Great. All right, but where are you at down here? We talked about Palmer.
I do. What's Palmer's ownership looking like? People are going to be on him. You got Streelman, who just contended at the PGA.
Streelman is down at 8.3. Palmer at 7.3.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, I'll take Ryan Palmer. He's kind of on the outside looking in as far as Ryder Cup contention for this year, but
and Ortiz was top 5 in our model.
Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't love Carlos this week. I think that's about the time though. That time of the season, he was on a tear back when they played the Farmers and then Phoenix.
Yeah, 7,000 too, man. That's
I'm on Ryan Palmer. I'm definitely not on Streelman. Definitely not on Cooch. I will certainly have some Charlie Hoffman. And this guy's been mentioned as a sleeper in majors a couple times now or in stateside tournaments. But Bobby McIntyre, he actually putts really well on POA greens. I think he's ready to contend in a major or at least make some noise and truly top 10. Finished 12th at the Masters this year. Kid's got some talent. Bobby Mack.
I'm going to take Sink out. I'm going to put Palmer. I believe in the Palmer. I believe in him. There we go. I like it. All right, moving down the list here. Zach Johnson pops up in a major here or there as a cup maker if you got to go below 7. No?
Nah, not this week.
All right. Well, I don't know about anybody contending under 7. I was kind of flipping through this. I don't know about that. But if we want to go top heavy and you need to get a cup maker, where are we going down here?
I don't really look at it. I'm not looking for just cup makers down here. You know, I like to look at guys that if they have a top 20% week that they can actually get up there and work their way into the top 25 and hopefully, you know, top 20, top 15 in DraftKings scoring. Johnny Vegas has been on a bit of a tear. We talk a lot about Johnny. He played phenomenal in his U.S. Open qualifier and then just finished T2 at Palmetto last week. Had a great Sunday round with some tough pins, so I like him. Victor Perez, I've talked about before, has the game to do it in a major. And then another guy who's starting to play well, who we're on all the time and we've seen contended a major before, Eric Van Rooyen.
He's dead to me. He's dead to me.
Abysmal for like 4 straight tournaments.
Nah, man, he's dead to me. I don't want to talk about him. For Next player. He's dead to me.
He's finding some form. EVR.
Nope.
Don't put it to bed.
Dead to me. You hear me?
Danger. We're in the value range here. You want guys who, if they put a good week together, they can truly contend. Not guys who are going to like hopefully finish 40th.
Nope. Dead to me.
Okay. Well,
I'd rather go to Party Marty.
Party Marty. There's a couple guys that are interesting. Taylor Pendrith, who's Korn Ferry Tour player. He hasn't had any wins, but he's been playing really consistently on the web tour. If you want a potential cup maker, I mean, Brian Stewart, he hits it about as straight as it gets. He's a Michigan boy. That guy could certainly make the cut this week. He's not going to top 20, but he could make the cut. Yeah, but
I mean, when you're looking at 6,500, can you really, really hope for a guy for top 20?
The U.S. Open tends to have just your random guys who you don't expect just pop up and contend.
All right. Well, let's get out of here, buddy. It's a busy afternoon, and
let me throw one guy at you.
What else you got down there?
Tipsy pick, so to speak.
Okay.
This guy's super young. I don't think he's even a professional yet. He's still at Texas. But let me just throw Cole Hammer at you.
I like that name. I actually played him last week.
Did you really?
I did. He missed the cut.
By a lot.
Yeah, by a large margin.
If you're looking for just an absolute flyer where you're going, all right, somebody who could step up and be that Cinderella U.S. Open story. And
now, you realize I played him because his name is Cole Hammer. I mean, I didn't have any insight into last week.
You probably didn't realize his pedigree and the fact that he almost won the NCAAs as an individual last year.
Well, I mean, I read the little blurb that they had about him. So
no, he's good. He's a legitimate good player.
I love it. All right, I might have to make a Stars and Scrubs and put Cole Hammer in there.
Yeah. I
got some 25-cent tickets, man. I'm a baller. Okay,
This
I have
guy's like
one.
replacing
Apparently, I have
Big
one
Belgian.
25-cent ticket. Never mind.
You weren't risking too much.
No, but I could play the dime game. I have 19 cents. Look at that.
The last guy I'll shout out is Thomas Detry from the European Tour. Big Belgian. He could do a little something if he puts together $6,600.
66. Where's he at? There he is. Detry.
That's
I like
about
it.
it.
I like it, man. All right. Give me your 3 favorite flat out bets.
3 favorite bets.
Yeah.
I like Cantlay. I've seen Cantlay as low as 25 to 1.
That's nice.
I do like Cantlay a lot.
Sounds like a $5 Johnny Danger special right there.
Yeah, you should probably do that.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the betting, to be honest.
Well, fair enough. If you maybe check out Draft Upside's Facebook page, if we get antsy tonight, maybe we'll drop Adam's favorite one-offs, long shots. Top 20.
I mean, definitely bet Charlie Hoffman for top 10.
Yeah. I like
you got to do that.
You know it. Well, Adam, it was a pleasure. I know it's Wednesday. We usually do these Tuesdays. I'm going to try to talk you into moving these to Mondays.
I didn't have a problem with that. I think it was some of the other guys that can't really do Mondays.
Yeah, Mondays would be great because that would give us time to distribute and talk about and get other article out on Wednesday. That'd be great. So maybe we'll start doing these Mondays. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening or watching. And we're getting real close to announcing some great new online content and webpage. It'll be exciting. And we'll be here for that. And probably weekly at that point, won't we, Adam?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyways, Draft for Upside, this has been In the Cup. Please check out the rest of the content at ilogicmedia.com. And you can catch Adam and I's stuff there when we are here to do it. Have a wonderful week. And Adam, good luck in your bets. Let's keep the chat going. Let me know who those favorites are so I can win some money. I'd appreciate you.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right.
Some money, U.S. Open.
Yep. We'll see you all next time. Have a good night.